Yerrrrrrrrrr. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Burrow77 coming to you live with another Champions League midweek football slate. Today, we are breaking down 4 games across 2 days. This is starting Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, and we'll pick back up again Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern as well. These games will be played 2 on Tuesday and 2 on Wednesday. If you're not sure what Champions League is, it's essentially soccer's playoffs during the middle of the week, knowing that we have something to bet on. Speaking of betting, let's get right into it with Inter Milan hosting Atleti Madrid. Now, Inter at the San Siro is absolutely no joke. They are on an 8-game win streak right now, and they are 10-1-1 at home this year in Serie A, with a goal differential of 30 scored and 6 given up. So this team has played 12 home matches in Italian Serie A. They've won 10 of them. They've drawn 1. They've scored 30 goals, and they've only lost a single game, and they've only coughed up 6 goals in this building. That's damn impressive. However, Inter Milan did not top their UCL group, and Atleti did. So Atleti technically is the higher seed here. And Atleti's had some struggles on the road this season. Atleti is 4-2-6 in La Liga away, with a goal differential of 18 scored and 14 conceded. What's going to be additionally tough for Atleti is Morata is out. So losing a UCL veteran with his scoring prowess is going to make it difficult to go into the San Siro and find a goal. Now, Atleti, like I said, went undefeated and topped their group. They were 4-2-0 in group stages with a goal differential of 17 scored and only 6 conceded. Whereas Inter finished second, and they went 3-3-0 in groups with a goal differential of 8 scored and 5 allowed. Typically, when you think of both of these sides, especially in Champions League, you think defense first, you think ball possession, you think not making mistakes. When you take shots, you have to be clinical with them and expect to finish them. And you get a lot of low-scoring matches because both of these teams are known for their defensive prowess. But Atleti's been getting a lot of goals this season, as we can see by their La Liga numbers and even their group stage numbers here. I just think Inter is a massive step up in class of competition, and that no Morata is really going to hurt them. And that's why I am going to back Inter on the money line here, right around minus 125. I also really like the under, but you are going to have to pay some more juice. Minus 135 on Caesars is still around, but everything else is going to be minus 140 or below. I think Atleti might sit in a low block here and try and park the bus. If you can go into Inter, frustrate them, and keep them off the score sheet, a 0-0 draw for you is a massive win to come back home where you've been playing much better the entire season, and you only need 1 goal to advance. I know people hate it. I know parking the bus doesn't make for fun football to watch, but it is a really good strategy, especially in tournament football like UCL, where you only get 2 matches, and points on the road and points at home are crucial. So if you can go on the road and hold your opponent to a 0-0, that's an absolute win for you. Even a 1-0 loss isn't the end of the world for Atleti, but a draw is totally a win. Walking out of the San Siro with points is one of the hardest things to do in all of soccer. This building will be absolutely electric. And because of that, Inter will want points here at home. You always want to go into leg 2 with a lead, but you definitely want to win your home matches with the crowd behind you. Not just for yourself and not just for the supporters. It really does make finishing off leg 2 a lot easier because Atleti's building is going to be very hostile too. There are no more easy places left to play in the round of 16, and it's only going to get harder. Inter knows what they're doing too. They made it to the final last year and lost to Man City. You see that star above their badge, that means they've won the UCL before. It's one of the hardest competitions on the planet to win. Inter make a deep run all the time. They know what it takes to win when it comes to tournament style football. Expect a cagey one with a lot of defense. I think we will see a lot of value on midfielders and defenders for shots and shots on target, because I do think it's going to be hard to break down Atleti, find space in the box, and when the clock's getting short, you're gonna want to put shots on target no matter where they're from, even if they're from outside the box, from distance, or from positions where it's not super easy to score from. It's going to take a worldie to get in the back of the net here, and I don't think we see a ton of goals, but I think Inter can gut out a 1-0 win here in the San Siro. Set pieces will be absolutely key. A majority of goals come from set piece opportunities. It's one of the few times where the ball isn't moving in soccer. So how you position yourself, how you attack, and how you defend on free kicks and corners especially is going to be crucial. Inter have a lot of big bodies who can get up and win aerial duels, and they have a lot of fast wing backs that not only defend well but move forward and put in good crosses in transition, and they can find somebody's forehead with a free kick. Even though I don't think there'll be a lot of goals in this one, I do think that this price on Lautaro Martinez is just too good to pass up. Plus 150 over on FanDuel. Martinez is an Argentine international. He was obviously on that World Cup team that won with Messi. He's scored 20 goals in Serie A this season. He's leading the league by a significant margin. Martinez has also scored 6 goals in his last 8 matches. And even though he only had 2 goals in group stages, Inter as a team only scored 8. So, I mean, he's got 25% of the goals they've scored this year in UCL. Very important note here, Martinez is no longer on penalty kick duty. He struggled with PKs at the World Cup. Those struggles then continued in Serie A. So much so that Inter decided that Calhanoglu is now their guy from the spot, which I think is a really good choice. Because while Martinez is a hell of a finisher and can position the ball, Panenka people, put arc under it, and try and pick out top bins, Calhanoglu's like a pitcher who throws 127 miles an hour. It don't matter where it goes. You're not fast enough to hit that thing. One additional value spot I want to talk about here is Marcus Thuram's assist number over on PointsBet. This is a rogue standalone number, which is priced at plus 340 on FanDuel and plus 330 over on DraftKings. Thuram's got 7 assists in Serie A this year. He hasn't had one in UCL yet. I think this is just way too much value to ignore. If you have PointsBet, you're getting an extra $1.60 per dollar bet, and that is just way too much of a gap. Even though I like the under and I don't think there's going to be very many goals in this one, 5-1 is a great price here. Keeping it moving into shots on target and some other players worth talking about. We'll start with Memphis Depay. This is who I believe will be replacing Morata, unless Atleti sits in like a 5-5-0 formation or a 5-4-1 formation. If Atleti really are committed to attacking and do push the pace here, I do think there's a ton of value on their shot on target numbers. Starting with Memphis, who loves a big game and also tends to shine under the bright lights. He does some of his best work for the Netherlands on the national team. So minus 127 is a really good number for a shot on target here. Alexis Sanchez balled out last game where Atleti had a 5-0 win over Las Palmas. Minus 118 is just way too short of a number for his shot on target if you see him in the lineup. Another guy worth a look over on Atleti is always going to be Angel Carrera, minus 104. Again, too short of a number. Samuel Lino, plus 112. Way too short of a number. Tejan Buchanan for Inter is a transfer who just came over from Club Brugge during the international window. I don't think he starts, but Tejan is my boy. He's a Canadian international. He has UCL experience, and he can just flat out play. So getting just shy of plus 130 for his number, I really like that. I'm not even going to try with his first name, but Mkhitaryan is another midfielder for Inter. Like I said, I think there's a ton of value on midfielder shots and shots on target in this one. Mkhitaryan's known to let him go and put him on frame. Same with DeMarco and Bellerin. Last but not least, I do want to talk about my boy Denzel Dumfries. He plays right wing or left wing back. I would love to see a pairing of him and Tejan Buchanan both playing wing back here, but I don't think we'll see it. Dumfries is another Netherlands international with Memphis Depay, who I always talk about, and he always shows up when the lights are brightest. His to score or assist number definitely might be worth a look. His shot on target at plus 240 is certainly worth a look. His assist on a standalone might be worth a look. If you're familiar with the Netherlands team or you've watched Inter and UCL before, you know Dumfries does a lot of the little things right. And when you do the little things right long enough, they pile up and your name shows up on the score sheet. I don't know. I'm just saying he's worth taking a solid look at. Keeping it moving, this is still Tuesday at 3 p.m. The second game we are going to talk about is PSV versus Dortmund. PSV is undefeated at home in league play. Now, they do play in the Dutch league, which is, there's 4 or 5 good teams in there, but everybody else is really soft competition. PSV is an absolute wagon, though, and is always in the top of the Dutch league. If you look over to the right, you can see 2 stars above their crest. That means they've won UCL twice. Now, it was a long time ago, but PSV has a lot of European prowess. This is a very tough building to play in, and PSV on the money line will definitely be live here. But Dortmund survived the group of death, and not only survived it, they topped it. And they did it by getting a lot of draws on the road. And they've been getting draws on the road in Bundesliga as well. Dortmund hasn't had the most consistent lineup, so I think we will have some questions on who and where they are going to start certain players and what sort of formation we're going to see. What I see from the lineup will be able to tell me a lot about this match, whether or not Dortmund's going to be attacking and pushing for goals here on the road, or if they're going to look to play a little more possession-based football, spring counters, and keep this one low-scoring and manageable so that they can try and win back home in Dortmund. I honestly hate taking a side here, but if I did have to take a side, I'd probably go with Dortmund on the double chance just because of Dortmund's ability to get ties on the road this season, and knowing they came through the group of death, this team is certainly battle tested, and I think minus 137 is a decent price on a double chance. Again, depending on the lineup and how it looks, I do think there's goals in this one. I think it will be the more exciting match for everybody to watch. Both teams to score in over 2.5 at minus 120 is very much in play here. I like both teams to score a lot, but it is heavily juiced. Minus 170 is the best price. Minus 180, minus 190. Maybe even lower is probably where you're going to find it most places. But I do think it makes a nice dance partner if you're looking to put a parlay together. If you really got some stones on you, I don't hate a draw play here, especially not at plus 225, plus 230 neighborhood. I could very easily see this being a 1-1 draw. That's why it says I hate taking a side, but I do want to talk about some sides and totals positions that I am looking at, because I do think there are goals here. One of the big reasons I think there's goals here is because Daniel Malin's playing. His anytime goal score is plus 300 over on FanDuel. He's got 9 goals for Dortmund in the Bundesliga. He sat out last game, but he is still coming off of a brace. He had no goals in groups, but you guys know I'm a sucker for a revenge narrative. And I don't know if this is quite revenge because he did well and moved on and is doing well outside of PSV. But he played for PSV from 2018 to 2021. He's familiar with the building. The fans know who he is. I love this guy to go back to his old stomping grounds and put one in the back of the net. And the fact that we're getting almost 3-1 for him to do it, sign me up. Speaking of goals, we got to talk about the savvy veteran Luke de Jong. His anytime goal is plus 160 over on FanDuel. Luke is an absolute madman. He's got 19 goals and 8 assists in domestic play. He has had 7 goals and 2 assists in UCL this season. Now, it is important to note that PSV needed to play their way into group stages through qualification rounds. So Luke de Jong has played more games, 3 more games exactly, than other strikers in this competition. So take that as you will, but 7 goals and 2 assists in 9 matches is still very impressive. As I mentioned, he is a veteran. This is his 10th UCL season. Luke de Jong knows what to do when the lights are brightest, in front of the home crowd, in his home building. Give me de Jong at plus 160 for a goal. Shots on target prices and or player names that we have to run through. Ricardo Pepe, minus 165. That's not a good enough number for a straight bet, but I'll tell you right now, if Ricardo Pepe starts, I'm definitely betting him for a goal. Pepe should be the U.S. men's national team striker, but we did just get Balogun to declare for us. I'm not going to sit here and discuss a bunch of U.S. men's national team stuff. Just know I hate and have zero respect for Greg Berhalter because he left Ricardo Pepe at home for the World Cup, and we didn't score very many goals. Ricardo Pepe gets buckets. So if you see him sub on late, and PSV needs a goal and is down to tie or is tied and wants a goal to go ahead, Ricardo Pepe is always a very nice live play. Chucky Lozano is a Mexican international. Minus 150 is a little steep for a standalone shot on target number, but Lozano came over in the offseason from Napoli and is a very quality player. He knows what it takes to play at UCL level, and he won the Scudetto last year, so he knows what it means to play in big games. Johan Bakayoko, I think that's how you say his name. I don't know. Belgian international, minus 135 for a shot on target over on FanDuel. Seems really high. I also like his to score assist numbers. Besides De Jong, he's probably my favorite regular starter. Ricardo Pepe doesn't start regularly. He's mostly used as a substitute, but Bakayoko is a straight up baller. This is a kid whose name you need to know, and I think he shows out here underneath the bright lights. Nicholas Fulkerg, minus 118 over on Bet Rivers. That price is too short for a Dortmund player who has, I believe, double-digit goals this season. Daniel Milan, like I said, I like him to score, but if you want to play a little more conservatively, minus 114 for a shot on target is a very good number. Karim Adeyemi is an absolute baller. He came over to Dortmund from RB Salzburg, who played in Champions League, and we scouted him over in Belgium because he was playing Champions League football. He plays on the left wing. He's dumb fast. He knows how to find the outlet pass. He has good step overs, and he finishes at the net. If you see him in the lineup, his shot on target at plus 105 is a disrespectful number. Marco Reus at plus 112 is completely disrespectful. Bino Gittins is another young kid Dortmund have signed. He plays the same position as Karim Adeyemi, and it seems like they've been giving him a little bit more run. So, again, depending on who we see in the lineup, I think plus 114 is a really good number. Jordan Sancho, he came back over from Man United, where Eric Ten Hag completely threw him under the bus, and in my opinion, made him look like a terrible coach, because Sancho's fitting in just fine and playing well for Dortmund. If you see Sancho in the lineup, plus 130 is a must-play number for his shot on target. Julian Brandt, again, plus 155. That's just way too long of a number. Sabitzer is a midfielder, but he does take free kicks, and he can go directly on net with them. I've seen him score some freaking worldies, and rebounds in the box tend to find him. So I think plus 190 is not a bad price here. Moving on to Wednesday. These games will all take place on Wednesday, and by all, I mean both of the two we're going to talk about. Makes sense, right? We talk about the Tuesday games first. Then, if you want, you can watch this portion of the video now, or you can see how we do on Tuesday and decide whether or not you want to come back and watch the Wednesday half. For me, it doesn't really matter as long as I have the content out there for both day games. But enough about that. Let's talk Porto hosting Arsenal. Now, if you've seen my content before, you know that I don't really have a problem with Arsenal as a team. It's the fan base that I can't stand. Arsenal fans think they deserve to be in the conversation with Real Madrid, AC Milan, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Ajax, Man U, Inter, Benfica, Juve. But I don't see a star above your crest, Playboy. You guys haven't won a UCL. So while your team is very good and you are playing good football, you haven't been able to put it together for an entire season, start to finish, yet in your entire history. And you have really short odds to win UCL for a team that missed the competition for damn near a decade. And I gotta tell you, if you're speaking with all that bass in your voice and with your chest coming into Porto, you might get smacked around a little bit, because Porto is no joke. Porto went 4-0-2 in groups with a goal differential of 15 scored, 8 conceded. Porto at home this season is 8-2-1 in league play with a goal differential of 19 scored and 5 conceded. And this is one of the weaker Porto teams we've seen in the past couple of years. Arsenal did go an impressive 4-1-1 in groups with a goal differential of 16 scored, 4 conceded. They did lose to Lens on the road, though. I will give the Gunners credit where credit's due. They're the best away club in EPL right now, going 8-2-3 with a goal differential of 28 scored and 11 conceded. My favorite bet for this one, I'm not taking a side. I like both teams to score here, and getting it at almost even money feels fantastic. Like I said, Porto are always live in their building, and they make it an incredibly difficult place to come play. A draw is a quality result for Arsenal here, being back in your first knockout round after missing the competition for almost a decade. You will take a road draw at Porto and then go try and win this thing at the Emirates. Tournament football is just different, and we're going to see if Arsenal has what it takes to go deep into tournament football this season. It's a different style play. It's a different mentality. It's a different brand. It takes different coaching, and we're going to see whether or not the Gunners are built for this, or if they're just really good first half of the season EPL teams. Porto is really old. They have a ton of old dudes on their team. So this is the age and experience versus the young and I would say new bloods, but like, you know, you ask any Arsenal fan, they'll tell you how big and how great their club is, but yeah, haven't been relevant for almost a decade. So you're the new blood. Again, set pieces, always key. Porto has a lot of really big guys who can get up and are physical in the air, and Arsenal tends to have a little bit of trouble guarding set pieces, especially corners. So it's going to be really important to win those balls and get goal kicks instead of giving up corners, and watch your fouls and where you're giving up free kicks on the field. I think there's goals in this one too. I think there might be multiple from both teams here, so I couldn't pick just one player that I wanted to target for props. So we'll go through each of them. Golino to score or assist at plus 380 on FanDuel is a really nice number. He's newer to Porto. That's why I have him pictured here in his Braga kit. Sorry. But he's got 4 goals and 4 assists in group stages, even though he has struggled in Portuguese play this season. If he's on the pitch, he's been a major contributor during the UCL and when the lights are brightest. I think plus 380 is a really long number to go back to a guy who's had 8 goal contributions in 6 games already for Champions League. Even Nielsen, anytime goal at plus 410 is a flat out disrespectful number. He had 4 goals in group stages, and he's got 9 for the club in Portuguese League. And then it wouldn't be talking Porto if we didn't mention Taremi, the Iranian international, who recently just signed paperwork committing to going to Inter in the summer transfer window. He's been at Porto forever. He is a staple there. His to score or assist number at plus 220 on FanDuel is just way too long on a guy who's made a career out of being the guy. On the Arsenal side of things, Gabriel Jesus, it sounds like his knee may or may not be ready. I'm not sure if he's going to be good to go. He is coming off of injury, so if he does play, you can also kind of expect a little shorter rotation, maybe only see 45 minutes from him. If he starts, maybe in that 60-minute neighborhood, they look to sub him off. Or if he doesn't start, they may look to sub him on early, just kind of depending on how the game flow is. But Gabriel Jesus is always showing up in the UCL. He likes the big stage. He likes the bright lights. I think to score or assist at plus 115 is just a really nice number, even though he is coming off of injury. This is a guy who's done it before. He came over from Man City. He's given Madrid problems before, so I've seen a lot of him. I know what he can do in UCL. He's pretty good. He also had 4 goals and 2 assists in group stages. It wouldn't be talking Arsenal if we didn't talk about the star boy Saka. To score or assist at plus 130 is absolutely phenomenal. Saka takes a lot of corners. He can score goals. He finds the open man. He does it all. They call him Starboy for a reason for the Gooners, and just know that even though I dislike Arsenal supporters, they're correct in the nickname Starboy because Saka is really, really good. He did miss a massive PK for England and got a lot of backlash over that, but since then, nobody's really had a negative thing to say about him. Last but not least, what can I say? You guys know I mess with Brazilians heavy, and especially Brazilian left wingers. Martinelli to score or assist at plus 150 is just a really nice price. Again, he's a Brazilian left winger. Vinny's a Brazilian left winger. I've seen a lot of both of those guys play, both for the Brazilian national team and for their clubs. They create space. They have a lot of pace. They're fast. They score goals. They find the open guy. They create assists. The way Arsenal moves the ball, I'm not super confident in taking straight goal or assist numbers on a lot of these guys. And that's why I included all these to score or assist plays. I think it's a really nice market that gives you the option, that gives you flexibility in getting these guys who perform this well at plus numbers is always a massive benefit as well. Quickly, we'll rip through some shots on target prices / names you need to know. Taremi, again, like I said, minus 140. That's just way too short for a shot on target for a guy who's been the guy at Porto forever. Leo Trossard, if he plays for Arsenal or if he's in the starting lineup, this number will change, but right now at minus 125, it's way too short. This is also on Bet Rivers, so if he doesn't make the starting 11, the bet will not have action if he comes on as a substitute. Martin Odegaard is Arsenal's captain and was a Madrid Academy guy, so minus 125 for his shot on target is a really nice price. I think it's good by itself, but you can find a dance partner if you want as well. Martinelli, minus 120. I told you I love Brazilian left wingers. Minus 120 is too short. Getting into some plus numbers, Kai Havertz, we all know who he is and what he can do. Evan Nielsen, like I said, I think his goal is very valuable at plus 410. So his shot on target at plus 120 is really valuable too. Same with Galeno at plus 145 for Porto. There is an important distinction to make here. Eduardo Pepe, he is the young forward who plays for Porto, not the old right back that used to play for Madrid. This is a young Brazilian kid who plays forward for Porto. His shot on target at plus 165 is a little bit ridiculous. And last but not least, Declan Rice does like to jack for chicks from the midfield. Plus 210 for a shot on target there for the Gooners isn't bad. Last game, and then we're going to get the hell out of here. Napoli hosting Barcelona. Osimhen is back for Napoli. He was away at AFCON playing for the Nigerian Super Eagles. They unfortunately lost the final to Ivory Coast. And I say unfortunately because if you know me and you know my content, it's Nigerian Super Eagles all day, baby. Stand up. Anyway, Napoli has struggled, especially in the back after getting rid of him and selling him to Bayern Munich. When you get rid of one of the best three center backs on the planet, you're going to have problems on your back line. It also doesn't help that their coach walked away to take a year's hiatus and isn't sure what he's going to do about football next. So Napoli's going through a lot of changes, and this certainly isn't the same team that won the Scudetto last year. 15 points clear 5 games before the end of the season. Barcelona's going through their own rough spell as well. Xavi's stepping down. They don't have the Camp Nou. They're broke. They're selling grass from the pitch at the Camp Nou. They can't sign anybody. They told old players that they owed money who deferred their contracts during COVID. We're flat out not paying you. Barcelona's a scumbag organization full of scumbag players run by scumbags, and most of their fans are dickheads. Both of these clubs love late game drama. I will not be surprised to see a KG first half that's very low scoring or even 0-0, and then the game ending 2-1, 2-2, somewhere in that neighborhood. Napoli went 3-1-2 in groups. Both of their losses came to Real Madrid, just saying, with a goal differential of 10 scored, 9 conceded. Barcelona topped their group. They went 4-0-2 in groups with a goal differential of 12 scored, 6 conceded. Now, I know I just badmouthed the hell out of Barcelona, but I am going to take them here on the draw no bet at minus 110. Like I said, Xavi has announced his departure, but this team is 7-5-0 in La Liga away, and they've also been awarded a lot of late penalty kicks lately. And this isn't Spain, so I don't know. I just feel like Barcelona is playing the better football. As much as I dislike the club and as much as I'd like to talk down on them, they're playing better ball. This Napoli team is in shambles. The loss to Shakhtar is always going to be tough. Shakhtar is a very gritty team. The loss to Antwerp should be embarrassing to you, but that was also game 6 of the group stages, and you had very little to play for, Barca, and Antwerp was really trying to get a third place there. So I can see how that one got away from you a little bit. This Barcelona defense is not living up to the Barca standards. They're letting in a lot of goals this season, and I think both teams to score an over 2.5 does have a lot of value here at minus 105 over on FanDuel. My personal feelings for Barcelona aside, I still think they are the better side. I'll back them on the draw no bet at minus 110, and I will probably end up taking this both teams to score over 2.5 at minus 105. Napoli players to target. Like I said, Victor Osimhen is back. His anytime goal is plus 160. This is simply way too high for a guy who bagged 25 last season. And absolutely crushes it when the lights are brightest and does well in UCL. Cover it, Shayla. I'm not even going to try anymore. It's Special K. We call him Special K. His name from now on is Special K to score or assist plus 130 over on FanDuel. he's been having a bad sophomore slump. He was a guy everyone was calling Star Boy, and people were going to pay 120, 130 million for him, thinking he was the next Saka. But he's been struggling. Again, this whole Napoli side has been struggling over in Serie A, but the lights are bright. This is UCL. It's time to show out. Put your money where your mouth is, Special K. Plus 130 to score or assist is just too big of a number over on FanDuel. Politano to score or assist as well at plus 165. He's got 6 goals and 3 assists in Serie A, and he's got a goal and an assist in group stages of UCL. Di Lorenzo for an assist at plus 600. This is just way too big of a number for a guy who leads Napoli with 5 assists. He did only have 1 assist in group stages, but again, I think plus 600 for a guy that's leading your team in assists in a game where you're really going to need the goal is a great price. For Barcelona, it's got to be Lewandowski, anytime goal scorer, plus 145. He's one of the best to ever do it in the UCL. He's got 14 goals in domestic play, and he's only had 1 goal so far in groups. So Louis, he needs to step up and show out here. I think he does it against a Napoli team that is pretty soft in the back. Yamal is the new young blood that everybody loves over at Barcelona. If he starts, I think his to score assist price at plus 180 looks really well. He is just a kid. He's got nothing to lose and everything to prove, and the pressure doesn't really seem to get to him. So if he starts, I definitely think he's worth a look. He's got 4 goals and 3 assists in domestic play, and he even had an assist in group stages. Gundogan is somebody you always got to look at too. He's pictured here in a City kit because he just transferred into Barcelona. But he was an absolute monster for City on that run last year. Has been for a long time. To score or assist, plus 270 on FanDuel is a really nice number. He's got 5 goals and 7 assists in domestic play this year, and he gave 3 assists in groups. Quickly running through the shot on target numbers, Rafinha, if he starts and plays, he is coming off an injury, but minus 125 is way too short for him. Same with Simeone, minus 114 for Napoli. It's just way too short of a number. I don't think he will play, but this is the guy to look for. Him or Raspadori, just in case Osimhen picked up a knock or isn't healthy. I'm pretty sure Osimhen just rested after getting back from playing with Nigeria for the Serie A fixture over the weekend to get healthy and to get right for this fixture here on Wednesday. Politano, if I like him to score or assist, you know I like his shot on target number at minus 110. Same with Yamal. Gundogan, plus 160 for a shot on target is absolutely ridiculous. Pedri, who plays for Barcelona as well, loves to jack for chicks. So does Cancelo, who is another City transfer over to Barcelona. Di Lorenzo at plus 330 is just way too high for a shot on target. And same with Frankie de Jong, even though I don't think he will play. I gotta put him on the list just because if he does, that's a must-play number on both of those guys. Anyway, that's all the time I have for you. I hope you guys have been enjoying this UCL content. I know I've been enjoying making it. I also like the fact that, you know, we get to cover 2 days worth of action with a single video. So before I get out of here, I got to do all my plugs. You can catch me on BetUS doing their La Liga show Thursday afternoons at 3 p.m. That YouTube link will be right down here in the description. Reminder, with Josh on vacation, starting with the Saturday Super College basketball slate on February 23rd, all the way until March 8th. You can find all of my additional content throughout the week on my YouTube page. This will be the last one I have Josh upload for Land Your Bets, because it's just going to be way too difficult for him to have the reliable internet connection needed for content to continue going up on the Land Your Bets page. I will be back on Land Your Bets once Josh returns from vacation. As always, I also run a Discord for soccer, college basketball, baseball, and anything else that I'm watching and gambling on. You can also pick up merch. I have shirts, hoodies, long sleeve, short sleeve, tank tops, 3/4, hats, you name it. You can find all of that at tftdrip.com. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in. That's it. That's all I got. That's Talking Champions League with the Oaks. I'm out.